Hey dudes, welcome to episode 6 of my Banished Let's Play series. Last episode we got ourselves a merchant and our first livestock. Here is the beef. If you're old enough to remember that, you'll think that's funny. If you're not, that's alright. I'm just being corny. We got a lot to do here. We got a lot to do, and from playing on my other map some more, this is Dukesburg, my other map is Duketon. I've been learning a couple things, and I have a couple other ideas that I think are really important to get across, so we'll talk about some of those. But for right now, let's go ahead and resume. What we are actually waiting for at this time is, let's go ahead up to the woodcutter. We're here to see how they're doing. Okay, there's 2 logs in there. I didn't turn off the woodcutter. I think I also have this guy working. I'm going to increase this to 40, not 135, 40. The increase is to 40 because that's about how many adults we have, and I like to keep that many tools on hand, as you know. That's how I feel like I'm playing it safe. Excuse me, and let's check the tailor. Close limit 35. We're going to go ahead and increase this to 40 also. That is about where we're going. And if you remember from last episode, speaking of the tailor, we were looking for some wool from this place. We were definitely looking for some wool, which we didn't get. Now, we got cows, which will be good because, as you know, the greater the variety of food, the higher the health for our villagers slash citizens will be. It's one of the key factors in that, so we're going to add some variety. We're also going to, I think, get some leather off of these cows. I actually have yet to receive cattle in my other world, so that's something that we're going to have to explore together. But another thing we need to do this episode is get a marketplace going here. Man, we have so much to do. So we have that marketplace. We need a place to put these cattle. This fishing dock is open, so we're going to have some peeps fishing here to keep our food going. But again, what we did last episode was pick up those cattle, and that was at the direct expense of our firewood, which was an issue. We've never been with this many villagers. We've never been with this many villagers and this low of firewood going into the winter. It's still early winter, so we may end up getting into some trouble. We'll get into some trouble, but you know it's going to happen as the snow falls on Dukesburg. So what I want to do now is figure out where we are going to start to lay out our cattle farm. So what I'm going to do is, okay, so I see this, the Forester Lodge extends to here. And I don't really have another Forester Lodge over in this area, nor would I put one nearby, except maybe down in here after we cross the river. This wouldn't be a good spot for one in particular. I mean, we'd have to build a tunnel through this mountain, and that would take a long time and be hazardous. So, and that for very little gain. We most likely, if we do end up even ever building over here, it'll be via a road that kind of comes across that way, not straight through here. So I'm thinking this little area right around here is going to be a pretty good spot to build some cattle ranches. I do also want to make sure we have a few more houses for some people that might want to move in. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Right, so we've made it to early spring with 211 stored firewood left, with 2 houses coming in. Let's go ahead and unpause this one. We do have 10 laborers now, so we have a huge unemployed workforce. So we'll be able to start increasing some of our, how do I put this? Some of our, I guess, our resources, our intentionally farmable resources, by which I mean wood. We'll be able to increase our number of foresters. We'll be able to increase our amount of fishing that we're able to do. Excuse me, because we have This guy's only got one fisherman there, and I'm pretty sure we could support at least 4 here in that amount of area without running into too much trouble in terms of overfishing. And now this whole thing is kind of obscured here. But that shouldn't be a problem. I'm going to stick this guy right up against this house. So they are going to smell cow poops the whole time. So I keep calling it a cattle ranch or a pasture. And I'm going to... oh, jeez, because I have the road selected. We're going to have that right up against the road. And I just hit R to rotate. And that is a solid size pasture. So we're going to have them work that out. The pasture is also close to here. And then as soon as that is built, and actually what I'm going to do is pause this, and we're going to pause this so that they get to work building this. I'm also going to speed it up to 5x because right now the holding pen is full, and what that means is what the full holding pen means is if dude shows up, if our trader shows up and he's got some sheep, we can't put them anywhere. So we're gonna kind of need to get these oxen, cows, bulls, cattle out of there as fast as we can. So I'm resetting that priority to here. So we're gonna get that built. We are going to we're gonna get that built. We're gonna get these finished up, and yeah, and then we'll keep it going. Alright, so we have our next little satellite pop-up venture going. We have a storage barn coming in. I'm going to put another woodcutter out here. We can only have one cutter. That's not a word. We can only have one woodcutter per woodcutter place. So I'm gonna have another one out here, and we'll see what they can do. I might load an additional forester out here also. We have another gatherer's hut coming in just to keep our food supplies nice and high, and just a couple of houses, 2 houses, maybe another couple of houses would be good. Let's tuck them in over here, I guess. That looks fine. And that looks fine also. I think I'm short 1 bit of road there, though. Yep. Okay. So, that's pretty good. Just a little bit here of inefficiency, just tiny little slivers of this circle. Most of that's going to be fine, and we're not going to come near capacity for that at all. That's just us trying to create a little bit more redundancy to protect, ensure the safety of our city. So we're doing it. Game is randomly pausing on me again. I have increased number of fishermen at the fisheries, and I'm just kind of keeping a close eye on current versus previous season. So I mean, it'll take a year or 2 for us to realize if this is being overfished. That is in no way near danger of being overfished. But before we get to the marketplace, the pasture. So I threw up this tiny little pasture real quick just to get them out of here. And the way pastures work is the way work is singular. The way they work is they have it depends on the number of squares. It depends on the size of the pasture. So I have a tiny little pasture here. This isn't going to ever have more than 2 cattle in it for any reason ever. So we actually need to build a bigger one to house them. I just wanted to get the smallest one up that I could so it would be done being built quickly, and so that we could empty these guys out and get them out of there in case our guy came back. So I'm also going to bring 300. We finished with 200 firewood last winter. I'm just gonna have that at 300. I'm just gonna let that rock and see what happens, because we should have some more dudes joining us soon over here. And then I want to get the marketplace going. So let's take a look over at the marketplace. Let's talk about the marketplace for 1 second. So this is actually our city center, so this Forester Lodge is going to become less and less useful. Because we're going to be filling in harvestable land. We're going to be filling it in with buildings, so there will be less spaces, but that's okay, because all we would have to do is actually just kind of keep creeping him out more, a little bit more every time we kind of fill up huge amounts of space. But let me talk about the marketplace for 1 second. And I'm going to go ahead and just commit to it. Now what happens is, when you place the marketplace, which I did, I'm going to pause construction on that so we can get our little satellite area down here. Where we at here? Just so we can get that place going. But basically, what happens is, when you click on it, it's got like a 90 block diameter circle around it, and people within this circle will prefer to gather their resources not from storage barns or stockpiles or things like that, or from the tailor or whomever. They'll prefer to get them from the market. So that's kind of cool, because that creates a centralized location for people to gather things. Now you fill the market with villagers called vendors. You can see up here. So there's a limit on how many things you can store at the market, but it works in a similar way to the trading post, where we have runners, porters going and getting things and bringing them and storing them there. So that's kind of how that works. Now this is cool, because the people in here, so I can actually just continue to fill this with houses in here. And people will have a long distance to walk maybe, but they won't have a long distance to go to work, but they won't have a long distance to walk to get their stuff. So it keeps it increases convenience for everybody. So once we get our little satellite over here, we're going to resume that building. And it's coming together, We're going to jack this up to 5x and let this rock and roll. Keep an eye on our firewood. Alright, so here we have the satellite that I just built. Can you hear it burning to the ground? Can you hear it burning to the ground? So fire, let's talk about fire, which is not what I plan on doing this episode. So we'll talk about fire. Fire spreads up to 4 blocks. We're still not 100% sure exactly where it always starts, usually on houses or wooden structures. It's burning right now. It can jump up to 4 blocks away in any direction and to spread. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna restart the game here. I'm gonna start it back up, and then I'm going to increase priority in this area. To this burning house, and hopefully people will. I don't have a well built out here. Let's go ahead and pause this, pause this, pause this, and pause this. And now this is on fire. This person's building a nice little road there. That's nice. Let's go ahead and increase priority over this whole thing. Hopefully hopefully it won't spread too much more. This is already burnt. There we go. Okay. So we only lost 2 buildings. Not bad. Let's keep a well close by. We learned our lesson. We got out easy. I've had fire take out an entire town before. Just because everything was packed on top of each other. So let's throw a well in. I don't know why, and it doesn't say anything anywhere about it. But using the increased priority and selecting those regions, and the regions don't turn green. You saw they stayed red. That'll help people focus on the areas on fire for you. So who knows? Who knows? All I know is that it works. So we need to get this rebuilt so we can get back on our log kick here. Now I don't know. This is worrying me greatly, though. I gotta be honest, because we are running out of wood and out of firewood, and it's late winter. Ooh, cutting it a little too close for the sake of restocking this. Now this is restocked, so it's not gonna, we're not gonna run out, but we're not gonna be drawing any more other than for what people need. The reserve of firewood is low. Oh, is that true? Is that why I'm worried about the low reserve of firewood? Excuse me. So don't worry, they'll be getting back on that. I don't know why that. Here we go. We're already at on tools and clothes. We are doing okay. We have stuff coming back together. Whew. That was a little too close for my comfort there, huh? A little too close. A little too close. So we're rebuilding here and rebuilding here. So let's get these dudes rebuilt, and we'll get back at it. Right, so we have the late autumn rains falling, soon to be turning to snow in Dukesburg. We have, you can see a larger ranch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 by 18 is what I made it. So we're going to make another identical one right next to it. There we go. So what can happen sometimes is that you can see we got a baby cow finally. What can happen as soon as we put them over here, we got another baby cow. What can happen sometimes to your ranches is that they become what is called infested, and I'm not 100% sure exactly what that's supposed to mean, but your cattle will slowly die, and it seems to be stuck on the actual building, not on the cattle. So all you have to do is the infestation slowly kills all your cattle, and they slowly die. All you have to do is move your cattle out of that particular pasture onto another pasture, and then it will slowly go away. And then when it goes away, you can move them back. So we have this just as a special little buffer to help save us. So that is a good idea to do. It costs logs and a little bit of space, so it would be silly for you not to have that just in case. That way you don't have, like, if your livestock die and the dude doesn't come by again with more livestock to offer you, you are screwed. So just think about that. Think about it. It's totally worth it. Worth it. So we have this coming together out here, which is nice. I need to double check on how many gatherers we need. I'm going to decrease that to 3. How many gatherers huts we have? I think we have 1, 2, 3. Is there another one out here? 4, yes. We're going to up this to 11. There we go. To 11, so it'll be 3 at those 3 and 2 at this new one. We're going to decrease this to 2. And I'm just trying to not over harvest anything or over expand too quickly. The main point that I wanted to get to this episode is, if you are doing anything, this is something, a little piece of advice, something I've learned the hard way many times over, unfortunately, and this should have been building a while ago. I should have been paying closer attention. I'm missing out on some efficiency there, but something I really want you to understand, I want you to take away with you here, is that if you are rushing to do something in Banished, It's already too late. You already messed it up. Everything in this game needs to be thought out and pre-planned. If it's not, and some emergency does happen, like when this is on fire, then you are in trouble. And that is, there's nothing you can do about it at that time. So keep that in mind. Planning is huge. If you are rushing to do something, or you are over expanding or rushing to continue to expand or things like that, you are that's not how you should be playing this game, in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. I'm finding some success about it. I have what I feel to be a fairly substantial and stable population at only 12 years into the game, so I think I'm doing okay. I know from the other map that I'm playing, Duketon, that we are on track for some great things in the near future. I'm actually going to build some more storage out here. Let's check on the marketplace. Building. I really love all the little flags and the colored tent type things that kind of pop up around this. I gotta be honest though, our next big concern, it's gonna be a hit to our population, is a stone quarry. We are rapidly running out of harvestable stone in the area. There are some out here, and we do have a lot of labor, so I'm gonna, for next episode, I'm gonna suck up all that stone out there, all this stone out here. This is already cleared of stone. Oh, before we go, let's see what this trader has. Last year the trader did come, but he only had walnuts for an orchard, and it is not yet time for our orchard. There will be some planting. Hello. Let's see what we have for trade here. Warm coats. That is all they have. I do want warm coats, but I want the wools that I may make them myself. Rian, the resource merchant, thank you for stopping by our humble city. But alas, I must bid you adieu. Where are my fish at? I should have some fish coming here too. 400, 400. Okay, they're there. I was misunderstanding what I was saying. Anyway, so for next episode, man, we got some stuff. We are still waiting on that wool. These guys are doing well. These guys, this is coming along. We need to see our firewood get up over 2,000. That is going to be my new goal. 2,000 on the firewood. We have these guys just planting. I just want them to plant, and then I'm going to be able to see like a little edge. We'll start to see this circle without actually having it. And you can see all the little saplings and stuff coming in there. Where are we at here? We're going to get this to 2,000. We're going to get it to 2,000. So, what did we learn this episode? Well, we learned how to combat fire successfully. What happens actually, which I didn't talk about, which I will mention briefly, because I don't need this episode to run too long for you guys, but what happens if you don't have people focus on that? If there are any people that happen upon it while it's on fire, they may choose to help or they may not. If you don't, I found that if you don't hit, geez, if you don't hit the, where is it? Where are we at? Here. If we don't hit the increase priority button and select the land that is on fire, they'll just walk by and watch it burn. And if we wouldn't have done anything to this house to slow the spread of fire, it would have jumped here and here and here, and those would have all burned. And then from there, this whole village area here would have burned. Now it doesn't spread on the pathway, so it would have never gotten to here. But the other thing is, if this didn't happen in this satellite and it happened in the middle of the town, think about it. If it happened in the middle of the town here, we would have been in some, well, we would not have been in a good spot, okay? Because this whole thing would have been gone. Now, if our entire existence was centered around this, we'd be done. It would be game over. If we maybe had some extra supplies here, we might have been okay in another 10 or 12 years, but it would have taken us decades to get back to this if this was all we had and it was all touching. So if this burns down here, what we have is another one here, another one here, and another one here. And I mean, we could probably get another one out here, but we're gonna get some more stuff working before we get that to happen, because this is far enough away from everything else and close enough to other things that that's going to be its own. It's going to be its own thing. So we're talking another marketplace, another city center over there. But anyway, that is it for this episode. As we resume speed, I want to thank you dudes so much for watching. Check out my YouTube channel for other Let's Plays and gaming videos. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. I do truly appreciate every single like, comment, and sub. Thank you so much for watching, dudes. It's TheeRealDuke, and I'm out.